stingrays today. So everybody wave at Daphne. I think she can see us now. She's adjusted her mask. So Daphne has a bunch of tasty morsels of capelin, herring, and bonito for our rays today. And those are all just little pieces of cut up fish these guys love. You can see our cow nose rays are very happy to see Daphne. They are swarming her for that food. So these cow nose rays are our smallest species in the tank, and you can see they're very comfortable being in close quarters with each other. They're normally a schooling fish, so these guys spend a lot of time migrating back and forth in their breeding grounds together. Very comfortable being close together like that. You can see at the bottom of Daphne's feet here, we've got our bigger rays. Those are our southern stingrays. They're different species. They're found in the same area. You can see one is getting very familiar with Daphne right now. So these guys can be found anywhere from Florida to Brazil, and they are very hungry. We do have a third species in the tank, probably hanging out in the back. I don't see him right now. He's our rough-tailed ray, and he's the biggest one. He was 250 pounds at last measurement, or that was what he was a few months ago, so he's probably bigger now. He is very, very large, and I'll try and point him out if he comes around later. I don't see him right now. So like I said, these guys are getting tasty morsels of some capelin and herring. That's pretty typical for what these guys would find in the wild. Rays having spent a lot of time on the ocean bottom, though, you might figure these guys eat things that they find under the sand, and that's very true. So these guys have some pretty special adaptations for how they find and eat their food. You might know that sharks and rays are related, but they obviously look very different, and the way they hunt and eat is very different as well. So if I can get Daphne up to the glass here in a bit, I'll show you how they eat. It's pretty fascinating. In the mouth, which is under their bodies, they have these flat rows of teeth. So unlike sharks, which have very sharp teeth, these guys have flat, blunt crushers. So Daphne could talk to you, she would tell you that being bitten by a stingray is more like getting your hand caught in a door than it is being bitten by like a cat or something that has sharp teeth. So lucky for Daphne, she won't lose any fingers. She'll just get some very sore hands if she gets bit. Maybe I'll get her attention later. So these guys, because they spend a lot of time on the bottom and their eyes are on top of the head, it's really hard for them to actually locate their food, obviously because they can't see what's directly underneath them. So they have two other adaptations for that. One is obviously smell. They do have nostrils underneath their bodies, so if they get up close later, you can see they've got those two little holes on the top, their underneath side, and they do smell. Another cool adaptation they have, though, is these specialized electroreceptors they have on the ends of their nose. They're called ampullae of Lorenzi, and they're just like the same sensors that the sharks have in their noses. I'm going to get Daphne up here. I'll see if I can get her to show you guys how these eat. So those ampullae of Lorenzi are just electrical receptors, and they allow them to sense things like heartbeats and other really fast movements under the sand. So any hiding fish under there, they'll grab. Here we go. So you see those mouthpieces? It's a pretty clumsy process. Remember, they can't see underneath, so they've got to feel for it. Missed it. Every now and then we see one with a piece of fish caught in their nose or something. They look pretty silly. So you guys up close, you can probably see those teeth that I'm talking about. Really blunt. They almost look like they have a smiley face, just like us. Really blunt teeth right in front. So our rays get fed about 4 or 5 times a day. We keep up with their active metabolism by feeding them very frequently. And you see they are very well fed here. We do have a species of shark in the tank, if you guys notice. So if you look up at the top of the water column, you can see there's these little guys swimming around that almost look like baby hammerhead sharks. Those are our bonnethead sharks. They're actually an entirely different species, and they are full grown. So that's as big as they'll get. We don't feed them at the same time we do the rays, just because they eat a little quicker, and we wouldn't want Daphne to lose a finger accidentally when they're shaking their head back and forth. So unlike the rays, which very clumsily mash up their food and then try to swallow whatever they can get, sharks, that you've all seen on Discovery Channel, they take a bite and then tear their head back and forth really fast to tear the flesh off the bone. And they have really efficient teeth that allow them to do that. They're serrated, just like a steak knife. So unfortunately, around the world, a lot of these animals are really threatened. And the reason being because we harvest a lot of them. So sharks in particular tend to be harvested for home remedy cures for everything from an upset stomach to baldness. So pretty silly, there's no scientific evidence that shows that shark fin soup will cure your baldness. You're gonna have to go out and get some Rogaine. Sharks will not work. Rays also tend to be caught as bycatch. What that means is that when a fisherman is trolling along the bottom of the ocean for tasty things like cod, these guys get caught accidentally in the nets that drag on the bottom. So we lose a lot of animals that way too. So it's really important when you guys go out and you're looking for seafood that you're getting sustainably caught options. There's a lot of ways you can go about that, your restaurants and the grocery stores that you guys go to. It's really important that we keep these guys alive for a long time, number one, because if we didn't have them, you wouldn't be able to see them here, and I hope you're enjoying it. Number two, these guys are really intricately connected in the food webs they belong to in the ocean, and if we remove them, we actually cause a lot of changes throughout the system. They're actually bad for the species that we rely on for our own food. So they're pretty cool. We do have a few fish in the tank as well. You can see the really fat guys that are hanging around the top there, looking for any scrub they can get. Those are appropriately named chubs. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are just looking for little morsels of food they can get from the guys who left behind. We have a single look-down fish in the tank, and he's just swimming right here in the middle, top of the water column, right by Daphne's bubbles. You see he's very flat, that's why we call him a look-down. He's actually the only one in the tank. Normally he would be a schooling fish. And he was a part of a school a long time ago when we had more look-downs in the tank, but when we moved them to their final home over in Dangerous Lagoon, this guy was too fast to be caught. So he's staying, you can't get a hold of him. Every now and then he'll school with the sharks, thinks he's a little bit tougher than he is, but he's here to stay. So later you guys are going to be able to touch some of these animals when you go upstairs, past the jellyfish. And Daphne can talk to you, she can tell you our rays feel very slimy, and that's because they are totally covered in mucus. The same stuff that comes out of your nose when you are sick, these guys are coated in it. And that just makes them move efficiently through the water. Sharks, on the other hand, have a different adaptation. They have these denticle scales. They're called denticles because they are shaped exactly like teeth. They're very sharp. And they help water move across their bodies just like air moves over a plane. Very smooth, very efficiently, so these guys can move fast through the water. We can't touch the sharks in this tank. They're not dangerous, but they do have to keep moving in order to breathe. So when you guys go upstairs, this tank will only be for touching stingrays. The sharks we don't want to touch because we don't want to impair their breathing. That would be very bad. But you can touch some other sharks upstairs, little bamboo sharks. They're about this big, super cute, and you'll find they feel more rough, not really slimy at all. So if you guys want to come up after the show, you're welcome to take some pictures with Daphne or ask any questions you might have. We'll be around for a few more minutes. Are you guys afraid for Daphne being in the water with so many stingrays? Some of you look nervous. No? I heard one no. So you guys must know then that Daphne, number one, is a professional. She knows what she's doing. Number two, these animals are very docile, would not normally sting anyway. Nobody wants to get into a fight, they don't have to. These guys are exactly the same. And three, we do clip our rays regularly to make sure their stingers don't get too long and nobody gets stung accidentally. So that's good for Daphne if she just happens to accidentally knee one of them. They're not going to overreact to the stinger. Their stinger's growing pretty regularly, like your fingernails or your hair does, so every few months we give them a clip just to make sure they stay pretty short. If you come up close later, you might be able to see just the nubs of sun coming back. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. You're welcome to go upstairs and touch the animals like I said. Otherwise, come up and ask us any questions you might have. Have a great day at Ripley's.